Welcome back to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I finally get to say it.
Thanks, Spidey.
And right now we are heading over to the training area and...
The danger room.
Oh, right, the danger room. Oh, hey, Cyclops.
Actually, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
I knew it. So that's why he suddenly, survived his fall.
Yeah, it was all a ruse.
Yeah, so
Yep.
basically we're gonna have to go through, just for the sake of, keeping us distracted while Magneto is just wreaking havoc, Mystique trapped us into the danger room, forcing us into a bit of a gauntlet. It doesn't last too terribly long, though. It's
Oh,
just
no.
like 3 waves.
I'm getting Sonic Boom vibes here.
This does look
Oh,
like
right,
Sonic
because of the
Boom
color scheme.
This does look like the Sonic Boom geometry.
Oh, man.
Only difference is that this game's actually complete.
That is true.
Yeah.
So while the people try to break down the door,
Deadpool,
I will
please,
ask.
Deadpool, please go sit in the corner for that pun.
But yeah, what were you about to ask, Logan?
While I hear the sounds of someone trying to break down the door, Hype, what was that thing
sorry.
Hype, you mentioned something there was something about the game that you didn't get a chance to mention in the last part yet?
Well, just... it's about just going over specific gameplay elements, because, that is something I feel like should be addressed. So, like I said, you control a team of 4 players, and you basically cycle between, regular and heavy attacks. You also have, special attacks that do more damage, but also eat up your energy gauge, which is the little blue meter down there. And if you look
Right.
closely, you see that little yellow circle around the character's head, like how it's sometimes a full circle or sometimes not. Deal enough damage for that to... deal enough damage for that to fill up, and you can achieve a character's extreme attack, which is basically those really flashy room-clearing attacks that a character can do. And you actually get a bonus if you do it in conjunction with all your other characters' extreme attacks.
Oh, so that's what that big Ultimate Alliance combo thingy that we saw
Yeah.
in the other boss fights
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, honestly, cooperation with your teammates also helps out a lot. Not even just with that. If you're able to, sync up certain special attacks with other character special attacks, you'll perform something called synergy attacks, which have special properties. Say, for example, you have Deadpool, who uses his guns, with Storm, who uses a whirlwind attack. That would pretty much cause a synergy attack where she'll pretty much spread the bullets all throughout the room with her tornado to pretty much shoot anyone within the vicinity.
By the way, best addition for this game, getting Yuri Lowenthal back as Spidey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. I liked
He's
that.
great, and I still appreciate him.
Oh yeah, Yuri's had a pretty extensive record voicing Spider-Man, and he definitely is one of the best. Another thing that this game has that we don't get to show off is that it kind of has its own little equipable system in the form of the ISO-8s. After the Avengers chapter, the one in the Avengers Tower where you face Ultron, that was the chapter that happened before this one, by the way. During that chapter, you can
Kingdom
introduce...
Hearts.
Anyway,
I don't know why I just saw this and it just looked like a Kingdom Hearts final area to me. Sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. So, at some point in the game, you get introduced to these gemstones called ISO-8, and they're basically kind of like badges you can equip to certain characters to pretty much enhance certain attributes. For example, one of them will increase the higher chance of you getting criticals and attacks. Some will add fire properties to your attacks, so on and so forth. And there is a little forging area that you can go to pretty much increase the attributes of what each character's ISO-8 does.
Okay. And I'm assuming that can also still be customized from the shield menu.
Oh,
it
yeah,
can.
of course.
So have either of you fully not for this recording, but just in general, have either of you beaten this game?
Yes.
Yeah,
what were
I
your-
beat
what
it
were your
once
thoughts
by
on the-
myself, and oh, sorry.
No, you finish your thing. You're clarifying.
All I was just saying is that I beat it twice. Once by myself, and once when I was helping Jordan beat it.
Okay. What are your guys' thoughts on the game as a whole?
As a whole, it's fine. I thought it was enjoyable. But like I mentioned, there are a certain amount of bosses and events that happen that I do not really care for because of how difficult the spike is if you don't level up enough.
Yeah.
Or in general.
Yeah, I agree. As far as my own opinions on it is that I honestly, it's really close between it and Ultimate Alliance 1 on which one I kind of think is better, and that, like, I definitely have more nostalgia for Ultimate Alliance 1, and it definitely is a much meatier project, a much meatier game in terms of, like, certain content and whatnot. But I definitely do appreciate a lot of what Ultimate Alliance 3 does. Like, I would argue that, like, it's probably the most accessible of the 3 games, because the progression is a lot more streamlined, it's much shorter than the other 2 games, and just a lot of the changes that they made to it that I get that would upset longtime fans, but I think those changes were probably, or some of the changes they made actually do help with people who just want to jump into the series. Like, if you ever were curious about Ultimate Alliance and wanted to give it a try, I would suggest starting off with 3, and if you like what you played of it, then go straight to 1.
Can I say
Go ahead, Matt.
something? If
Yep,
that's
go ahead.
All right. The one thing I'll say is that I've seen, like, the story of 3 and all of that. I want to say it looks like the gameplay is the best in 3. But personally, I think the story in 1 is slightly better. I do like the story in this game, but the story in 1 has such huge... Like, both games have high stakes, but I like the villains in 1 a little bit more. Especially, like, there are some really interesting, intimidating parts of that game, like having to choose between Jean Grey and Nightcrawler in one scene.
Oh yeah, but when you're in Mephisto's realm, and
Yeah.
one of them needs to be sacrificed, which does affect how the ending of that game goes. That's something we can talk about. Yes?
Quick question.
Yeah.
So how much of the Xavier Mansion is made of metal?
Well, we could
I
definitely
think
say.
Considering the foundation of most buildings is made of metal, I'm going to say
Yeah, you
a
have steel
bit.
column. Yeah, there's like steel girders involved in most cement work. That, and as you're noticing, he has the Power Stone, which basically gives him infinite like energy or stuff.
Yeah, it pretty much increases his natural mutations.
Okay, so he basically now he can even lift up wood if he wanted to. Or
That would be
if he wanted
amazing.
to.
But I think it's more something where like he's able to. Normally he couldn't. I don't know if he could reach the metal beyond all that cement and wood, but now he can. I think.
Yeah.
Let's hope he can't reach the iron in their bloodstream. Otherwise, then we'd be screwed.
Oh god, that'd be horrible.
You say that. Do you remember X2?
To be fair, they injected iron into his bloodstream, so
That was
made
still
a
an
little
awesome
bit.
scene.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy that they pulled that off. But yeah.
But yeah,
So?
basically we're just having to do like a little powwow with Magneto so we can get the stone back. Which that is one thing that I definitely do commend this game, is that like it also goes into my whole back and forth on whether I prefer it or 3. Aside from that one obnoxious difficulty spike with Doctor Strange mind controlled, I really do like a lot of the bosses in this game. Like there are some that have like a pretty nice amount of variety. Like for example, there's there's one where you fight Sandman, and he's this giant sand thing, and you pretty much have to, you can't attack him normally, you pretty much have to blast him with these water cannons first, then you can actually attack him.
Right. So I just said about how slow it was. Just.
And then
hit
just-
Magneto. Yeah. But okay.
my.
I mean, it almost. I guess in that case, like I like the idea of what they do with the bosses. It almost feels like Mega Man 11-esque, where like the robot master would have some sort of like ultra powerful mode based on either the power or speed gear.
Yeah, they definitely play up that in this game, considering, well, it's the Infinity Stones.
Right. And I guess.
Remember when they played up the Infinity Stones for, infinite?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, I
Nice.
know, like, the way that they use them is supposed to be harken back to how they were in Marvel superheroes.
All right. That actually, you know what? That was the first Marvel video game I ever played. Was Marvel Superheroes.
Oh, look what he had.
Oh,
Oh,
I think we're getting some visitors.
Yep.
Not friendly ones.
get the
By the
raccoon.
way, I will say I like that this game does put more emphasis on the Black Order than the Infinity War movie did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, basically, like, it takes cues from a lot of different sources, but for
Hi,
the most part, the
Proxima
story
and
really is
Corvus.
just its own thing.
Yeah.
We have tracked you across the
Get the giant saw blade on the double.
God damn it, I hated that how she died in the movie.
Why? Because she got to do nothing.
Neither of them did anything. I hate that, considering the fact that Corvus Glaive and
Proximus.
no, the Squidward guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Roger Bumpus.
Ebony Maw, thank you. Corvus Glaive and Ebony Maw in the comics they can kind of rival Thanos himself.
And since we live
Yeah.
in the universe, well, I'm sure you understand our concern.
Yeah. Also, that is one thing I meant to answer that sooner. You were talking about like you were talking about like how the game handles the humor. It's like I would say like the X-Men chapter is where it gets a little bit like extensive with the humor because Deadpool. But for the most part, I think this game does have like its own fair share of laughs. I would say I think some of the character related.
Oh, that was a close one.
Oh, that's right.
And
Metal.
just turn it around and park. There you go.
So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have an ally in fighting these two dunderheads.
You gonna... Okay, cool. Do you mind giving it the stone? No. Okay, well, you just hang on to that then.
No, basically, it's like, now that he knows what's going on, he pretty much is gonna outright help us, but he's just gonna hold the stone for now.
Yeah.
So...
And also, this right here, this is also where it gets into a little bit more of the, like, scripted losses thing, where it's like, this part in particular, you can win, but it's gonna take a while, but the stuff after that is where you pretty much, for story purposes, do have to take a beating.
Yeah.
So, while we're here now at the end of our little look at thing, we're getting close to it, I should say. So, I feel like I should give this game a shot, and I would be interested in like trying out an Ultimate Alliance 4 if they take feedback from this to try and, make it feel a little less grindy.
I guess, like I said, it really does kind of depend on how your thought process is when it comes to, like, games like this. Like, I feel like if you're competent enough, you don't have to worry about grinding that much, but again, it's just those two spikes. And I guess I do want to also talk about this as well, because this is also kind of a big deal. A little while after this game was released, there was actually a DLC campaign that kind of acted like an epilogue to this called Shadow of Doom, which revolves around spoiler alert, after they beat Thanos, they pretty much take the stones and like hide them in like super secure locations. Shadow of Doom focuses on Dr. Doom pretty much taking the Power Stone that was in Wakanda, actually wait, it was the Soul Stone that's in Wakanda, and using it to wake up this being that's known as a Celestial. And that chapter is really fun because it really is just a lot of Fantastic Four fan service, and the Fantastic Four themselves I really loved playing as in that game. That being said, the difficulty very much assumes that you've already beaten the game because it is much harder than the main campaign. I would argue to a point where it's even more obnoxious in some spots.
Yep. And now I'm taking over. Oh, I was taking over.
I was gonna say, like, it's... Yeah, I see
since
kind
we're
of like...
recording on my end, it's mainly focusing on me.
No, that's fine.
Also, one thing I'll say about the reason why I love the first game is that first game truly made me a fan of Marvel Comics, specifically with Dr. Doom. That game made me realize how much of a threat Doom is, and how intimidating a villain, and how the movies need to step the fuck up with their portrayal of Dr. Doom.
They may, considering we have a reveal that it looks like the MCU may be looking into that.
Well, yeah, to be fair, they did, I think somewhere it's confirmed that Dr. Doom will at least appear in Black Panther 2.
Honestly, like, I do appreciate that, and I do agree with you that overall they really need to step up their game when it comes to Doom. My thing when it comes to the MCU, when it comes to, like, the MCU finally using the Fantastic Four, I kind of would appreciate the fact that they remember that they have other villains aside from Doom.
Honestly, I do hope that the first... I said this before, I think, in other stuff, but I hope the first Fantastic Four movie that we get in the MCU, since the Skrulls have already been introduced, give us Kalert. Give us the Super Skrull. Please.
Not just that, I also wouldn't mind seeing other villains. Like, I think Mole Man would be a lot of fun to have in the MCU.
Honestly, I don't think Mole Man, like, he's more of an anti-hero. He flips back and forth.
You barely survived facing me alone. What makes you think you could ever defeat two of us?
Because the plot's gonna allow us to survive this somehow.
Brilliant observation, Liebchen. Danke.
Whoop!
Proxima!
Thank
He
you,
got
Kurt.
poofed. He got poofed. But now can we fight him?
We can,
Well-
but like I said, scripted event. Hey Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
he holds no punches. Like, he will wreck you something fierce at this stage. So don't expect to actually try to win.
Yeah, Corvus Glaive is kind of overpowered in the comics.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying my best to kick his butt. He's getting kind of the best of me. I'm down.
Yeah, holy crap.
Yeah, don't worry. Like I said, this is basically meant to be, like... Again, for story purposes, you are supposed to lose that.
Your insignificant planet shall follow.
No. Save
How did you get back?
for our master.
I walked here. Did you not see me walking here?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh.
Because spoilers, it ain't her. Saw it coming.
Let me have mine
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah, I know.
Nope.
Oof.
Never mind.
Keep the train going. Now someone beat her up from behind, and let's just keep going until we're inside the house
And then
somehow.
it's the real Corvus behind her, and it was Morph pretending to be Corvus, and then...
About the gravity of your situation.
Straight up. We just experienced a fucking double psych in like a matter of seconds.
Ain't it grand? So now we fight her for realsies.
Her and him.
Wait, okay, so we're not gonna be able to do this then.
Nope. Again, like I mentioned before, like, even though I do love this chapter, there are a lot of moments where you are purposely going to have to take a beating for the sake of the story.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
I mean, you will be able to, like, beat them up proper in the last chapter, and it's quite exhilarating, but for now, you're gonna have to have some help from these guys. And now you're gonna have to run.
Yeah. Run. Hey, where am I?
You're all
you're
the
back
way.
there.
You're all the way in the back, which is cool. It just means. It
I'm
just
not
means.
supposed to be in the back.
It just means that Hyde doesn't have to worry about outrunning them. He just has to run faster than you.
Hey, Kurt, how did you get back? Hell if I know.
Honestly, like, that is something that you say, Logan, is, that kind of is something how the game
there.
works, where it's like, as long as one of you makes it to the end, it will count as a win for your case.
This may not be a battle we can win.
Yeah.
We used all of the
So, other than that, James, I appreciate, we still appreciate you having here just to witness all the comic book geekery.
a better plan.
Yeah.
Far from here as possible.
Assuming he's still alive.
I have never
James?
teleported so many at once.
Probably had to be RB. It's okay.
Oh, he's muted, actually.
Not even Lockjaw could get
That
Just
would
if he's still recording.
explain.
this insanity.
No worries. It should be okay. But yeah, so that being said though, like this is still a great series that I'm glad to see they're still carrying on. Again, I hope that they can, take some feedback moving forward to keep, building up on this, because I think this game, more than any other game, really makes the most out of the wide, character roster of the Marvel Comics.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like this one, and even if I'm not the biggest fan of it, even two, like all three of these games are pretty much just a great amount of fan service just for Marvel as a whole.
Can I just say...
And I really would, yes.
No, you.
I was just agreeing with Logan in that, like, I really do hope that, like, they take the feedback and try to do, like, a better job with 4 or whatever they plan on doing for this series.
And yeah, and then back to you, Matt.
I will say, even with the problems of 2, I like the story in that one. I still think that story in this one and the first game are better. But story in 2 is not bad, specifically if you think about the fact that it is still a better adaptation of Civil War than the original Civil War.
I mean, that's fair. It's just that, like, honestly for me, it's just a lot of moments where it's like, I feel like 2 doesn't really quite have as much, like, punch or fun factor as 1 or 3, but that's a discussion we can have for another time. But thank you for joining us on this look at of Ultimate Alliance 3, and like I say, and like I mentioned before, I would recommend you at least giving the game a look just to see if it is something you'd be interested in, and if you like it, I'm glad you like it, and like I said, if you want more of that, I would recommend trying 1, and then maybe 2 if you want. Like, 1 I think is pretty easy to come around nowadays. Like, I'm pretty sure it's still on Steam last I checked.
I think I can look that up real quick, but continue.
But yeah, that is just basically it. Thank you for watching. Thank you again, Jordan, for lending me a hand through this.
You are quite welcome, sir. And one thing we didn't mention before, if you are going to play this game all throughout, I strongly recommend more than 2 players. Just saying.
Yeah,
it definitely needs to be built around that.
Yeah, it's like, it's perfectly feasible with 2. I would argue it is perfectly feasible with 1, but it really is one of those the more the merrier aspects.
Yeah. But
yeah.
until next time, I am Jordan the Cat 11.
I was Lucky Jack 20.
I was here.
Yep. James was also here.
Yes, he was. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Huh? What did I miss?